Alright. Oh god. Oh! I'm just gonna have to sacrifice those. Okay. I haven't even filmed the dang video yet and I just gotta get up. Oh my god. Well then. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. As you can see from the thumbnail and the title, this is a book haul and it is a very large book haul. I have exactly 60 books to show you today. Now, I will say that quite a few of them, I think about like 15 of them, are ARCs that I received from my employer. So I am a bookseller. If you didn't know that, I do work at an independent bookstore and we do receive ARCs from publishers to read and review and hopefully sell in our store if we really like them. So I do have quite a few here. I do have a couple that were sent to me from the publisher themselves, but I do have some of those. So not all of these were ones that I bought myself, and the ones that I did buy, quite a few of them I got at discounted prices. So I don't really know why I'm trying to justify this. It's a little outrageous. just a little outrageous. But yeah, I do not want this video to be super long by any means. So what I'm going to do is jump right into the video. But also, I'm not going to say too much about each book, mainly because a lot of them, mainly the ARCs, I do not know enough about them to really say anything. And the other ones, I might have forgotten some of the major plot points and details and things like that from them. However, I'm still going to show them to you today and get through this video. Hopefully it's not super long, but grab a snack, grab a drink, get comfortable because you're in for a wild ride. But yeah, let's get into the books. So I'm going to start out with the ARCs first, since I have 15 of them. Some of them are ones that I'm super excited for. But yeah, so the first one that I have here is The Other Side of the Sky by Amy Coffin and Megan Spooner. This is their latest young adult book that is coming out in September. It is going to be the first book in a duology, and I believe there's star-crossed lovers and some action and things like that going on in it. But I do love the cover, so hopefully this is the final cover of this book. But yeah, so this is one of them. The next one here is also a young adult book. It is called Among the Beast and Briars by Ashley Poston. So I do not know anything about this one. The cover, though, is what really drew me to this. I actually heard quite a few about this, like quite a few good reviews about it, though, so I'm kind of excited to see what it's about. But it looks like, to me, it looks like it's like a fantasy, but with fairy tale vibes. So I'm excited for this one. Oh, and this one comes out in October, at least on the spine it says. You can't always go off of what the spine says on an ARC, but that's what I'm going to do for the purpose of this video. But so October for that one. The next one is a beast. It's a beast, you guys, but I'm so excited for it. It is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. He is the author of the Aragon series. I always want to say Aragorn, but that's Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. But no, it's Aragon, the dragon books. But yeah, this is his first book since that series, and I'm really interested in this one. First of all, like I said, gigantic. It's a beast, but it is a epic sci-fi book. I have not read a lot of science fiction, but I'm excited for this one. I think it's about a woman who has like a good life and she's gonna be engaged or like married, and then she finds this like hidden object in space or something. I don't really know, but it's supposed to be epic and I'm so excited to read it. This one comes out, I think, September 15th. If I know the exact date, I think it's September 15th. So I'm going to try to finish this and read it before that, but I'm really excited for this one. The next two ARCs are actually both romances, and one comes out September, one comes out in November. So the September one is Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. She is the author of Fix Her Up and Love Her or Lose Her. I've only read Fix Her Up. I enjoyed that one. It wasn't the best, but it was a lot of fun. So I'm really interested to see where this one goes. It's supposed to follow some of the characters that you meet in Fix Her Up. And yeah, so then the other one is Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur. So this is the one that comes out in November, and I'm pretty sure this is a sapphic romance. So I'm really interested in this. So female romance, I'm super excited. On the back it says with nods to Bridget Jones's Diary and Pride and Prejudice. So, you know, we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, I always need some romance in my life, my reading life, and my real life as well. But yeah, so I'm excited to read that one. And then the next one I'm super excited for. It's a young adult fantasy, and it's Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I'm so excited for this one. The cover is phenomenal, but I believe people are saying that it kind of has Avatar The Last Airbender vibes, because it seems like they can like bend elements and like control the elements. But I'm so excited for this one. It comes out in September, so I'm looking forward to reading this beautiful book. The next one is another one that I'm so excited for, and it's These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a young adult fantasy book that is set in China. Yes, Shanghai, in 1926. So it also kind of has a historical fantasy vibe going on, but I am so beyond excited for this one. It kind of is supposed to have like two rival gangs, and this girl, 18-year-old girl, is kind of caught in the middle of those. She's a former flapper girl as well. So like I said, it's supposed to be a little historical and have some great elements. I don't know, actually, now that I'm looking at it, I don't know if it's actually a fantasy book. Maybe it's just historical fiction. Either way, I'm excited because one, I don't read a lot of historical fiction when it comes to young adult books, and two, if it is fantasy, fantasy is my favorite genre. So either way, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm so excited to read it. Woo! The next one is actually one I've already read, so point for me on that one, but this is one that I did receive directly from the publisher. They asked me if I wanted to read and review it. It comes out in March of next year, and it is Red Island House by Andrea Lee. If you're interested in my thoughts on this novel, you can check out my July wrap-up, which is where I read this book, and I will leave it linked up above for you. But yeah, you can check it out. But it is about a young woman named Shay. She marries a man, I think he's an Italian man, and he decides to build a vacation home for them on the island of Madagascar. And Shay has to kind of deal with her own identity, being a biracial woman, and trying to deal with being the like lady of the house, basically. So it's a really kind of, it takes place over 20 years, and it's just this lifespan of this main character, Shay, and how she deals with things and how she eventually comes into her own person. And so it's a lot about identity, and it's one that I did enjoy. I didn't think it was best, but mainly because it's not really the type of book that I would gravitate towards. But there's so many things in this that a lot of people would really connect to and enjoy. So anyway, like I said, if you want to hear more of my thoughts, you can check that out. I also did a reading vlog of it, so that will be linked up above as well. But yeah, this one was sent to me from the publisher themselves, so thank you so much for that. The next three are also ones that were sent to me directly from the publishers. The first one being The Silent House by Nell Pattison. This is a thriller novel where the main family, the main characters are all deaf, and there might be someone in their house. Sounds interesting to me. This one comes out in September, so I should be reading this one very soon. The next one that I have here is The Last Story of Meena Lee by Nancy Juyun Kim. So this is, I think, just a general adult fiction novel. Don't know too much about it because it was just sent to me from the publisher. I think it's like a mother-daughter story, maybe. But I am interested in this one. This one's coming out also September. It says September 8th on the spine, but like I said, never know for sure about that. And then the final one here, not really the final one, I have so many more, but the next one here is The Book of Hidden Wonders by Polly Crosby. This one, I believe, is one that has books and books. Let me see what it says here. Oh, deeply imaginative debut novel about a young girl immortalized in her father's illustrated books containing clues to their family's secrets. So it seems to me like it might be a little bit of a thriller, maybe a mystery, possibly a little fantasy, because if it's like she's immortalized, but maybe it's just like maybe you're reading her story if she's immortalized in it. But it sounds interesting to me. So that one is coming out September 1st. Oh boy. I have a lot of September books that I'm going to need to get to pretty soon. Next arc we have here is We Are All the Same in the Dark by Julia Heberlin? This is this one is supposed to have already been out. Missed that opportunity. But this is supposed to be a mystery thriller. Other than that, I'm not too sure what else it is about. But the cover is very, very intriguing. I feel like I'm talking super fast because I don't want this video to be super, super long, and I'm already 11 minutes into it. But anywho, so the next one is The Silvered Serpents by Roshani Chokshi. This is the sequel to The Gilded Wolves, which is a book that I read last year, maybe. And I gave that one, I think it was like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, but it didn't like completely throw me. But since I have the arc here, I will probably read the arc and see how the story continues and what happens. But Gilded Wolves, if you didn't know what that one is about, it is about a group of characters that kind of go on this heist, but all the characters are really well written, really well done, and people tend to be really drawn to those characters. But yeah, I did enjoy it, but it wasn't the best thing that I've ever read, and mainly it's because I think it might be just Roshani Chokshi's writing for me. I have read her Star Touch Queen book. I think it's the start of a duology as well. And I didn't really care for that one either. I think that one was a 3 out of 5 stars as well. Possibly a 2-star. But I do want to see how the story continues from the Gilded Wolves to this one. This one was originally, this arc, I actually picked up a while ago, and it was originally supposed to come out in February. I don't know if you can see that. It says February right there. But it's supposed to be coming out later this year, November, maybe? Don't quote me on that, but it's supposed to be coming out later this year. Guys, the next 2 arcs that I have here are probably the most exciting arcs I've ever received in my entire life, which isn't very long when it comes to receiving arcs, but the first one here is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is one that I am just dying to read. Naomi Novik is one of my favorite authors. She wrote Uprooted and what's the other one? Spinning Silver, yes. She wrote those 2. They are fantasy books, but kind of more fairy tale-like fantasies that are just incredible. But I'm excited for this one because this one's supposed to be like taking place in a school, which I'm very, very interested by. Other than that, I don't know what it's about. But you know when you have the author that you really, really love, you're going to read everything by them? That's Naomi Novik for me. So I'm excited, even though we don't know really what it's about. So there's this one. Guys. I have here The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I'm so excited, you guys. This one is coming out in October, and oh my god, I'm just so excited. It is one that I think V.E. Schwab has had close to her heart for a really long time, but it is set in, I think it's set over a course of a period of time from like France in the 1700s and then to the present, but it's about the main character, Addie LaRue, who every person she meets, or every time that you meet her, you're gonna forget about her. So she has an invisible life because nobody remembers who she is until one day she walks into a bookshop and the guy remembers her. So I'm excited to read this one. Like I said, one of the most exciting book mail I've ever gotten here. So I'm excited. Okay, we're 15 minutes into this unedited right now, and I only went through my arcs, so now on to the rest of these books here. Next we have Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, the first book in her Last Hours trilogy. This is the kind of spin-off of a spin-off, but it is the extension of the Infernal Devices, which is my favorite of her books and her trilogy, honestly. But I read an arc of this one and I really enjoyed it, so I thought I would pick up a finished copy, which is why I have this one here. Also, it's collector's first edition, so there's, let me see here. There's this like cute, oh, I just hit myself in the face. There's this really cute illustration here in it that is very nice, and it took me a second to be able to get who everybody is, but I really love that about it. But yeah, I had to pick up a copy because I really enjoyed the arc when I read it. And the next one here is one that I'm currently in the middle of reading, but I am absolutely devouring and I'm loving it so much. It is Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, a adult high fantasy novel that kind of has West African vibes to it, or culture in it rather, but it is Game of Thrones meets Gladiator, and it is epic. When I say epic, it is epic. There's so much action in it and I'm just absolutely devouring it. So that one. The next one here is one that I gave in and ended up buying, even though it was only a few days after its release that I ended up buying it, but it is Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer. So this is, you know, Twilight, but from Edward's perspective. That's the simplest thing that I can explain. But I got a signed copy, which is kind of why I gave in and bought it. Can't really pass up a signed copy on that. And I knew I was going to read it anyway. I didn't know if I wanted to purchase my own copy, but I ended up doing it because it's signed. Eventually, maybe I'll just sell it or give it away. I don't know. But the next one here I have is Lady Hotspur by Tessa Gratton. So this is set in the same world as The Queens of Innis Lear, which is a book that I really enjoyed when I read it. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. This kind of series of hers is not ones that you really have to read them in order, but they're all Shakespeare retellings. Don't really remember which one this one is, to be honest, but like, for instance, the first one, The Queens of Innis Lear, is the retelling of King Lear. So it's fun, it's entertaining, there's a lot of like action and magic and things like that. So I have this one here because I really enjoyed the first one. And then the next one that I have is The Sisters Grimm by Menna von Praag. So this is one that I picked up because of the cover. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? But this one is supposed to have 4 sisters that I don't really know what else is going on, but it's like, oh, it says it combines dark magic, mystery, and tragedy in a modern fairy tale evocative of V.E. Schwab and Neil Gaiman. So yeah, 4 sisters and fight to the death, I think. That's usually how it goes, right? But the cover is what really drew me to it, and sometimes I will have to admit that I do buy books because of the cover. I'm excited for this one though. The next one we have is The Iron Dragon's Mother by Michael Swanwick. This is supposed to be, I think, sci-fi and fantasy, and it is about like a half-human pilot that's piloting a mechanical dragon set in a fairy world. Can't get much better than that, honestly. Next, we have Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram X. Kendi. This is a nonfiction one that is very prevalent and very important right now. It's important all the time, but especially right now because of the Black Lives Matter movement, which is a movement that I fully support, by the way. I fully support everything that's going on and donating and things like that, but I decided that I needed to kind of educate myself a bit more, so I picked this one up. I am currently reading it. I'm only 80 pages in because it is such a heavy book and heavy topic, but I do plan on reading more of it this month. Actually, it's on my August TBR. So this one is one that I picked up to educate myself, and I highly recommend a lot of you also pick it up as well. The next one here is Kingsbane by Clare Legrand. I recently read at the beginning of this year Furyborn by Clare Legrand, which is the first book in this trilogy, I think it is. Loved it so much that before I was even done with it, I ordered this one. So it's a YA fantasy about two queens, one who will save the world and one will kind of end it, and there's a lot of magic, and it's set like years apart from each other, but it's so epic, and I really enjoyed it, so I picked up the second book. I should have grabbed like a water or something because I'm getting parched. But the next three books are all from Book of the Month, and the first one is Ink in the Blood by Kim Smejkal. I think this is tattoo magic. Looks cool. And I have Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. This is the author of Mexican Gothic, which is the only one that I've read of hers so far, but I enjoyed Mexican Gothic, so I decided I wanted to pick up one of her backlist titles. This one seems rather interesting to me. It's supposed to be high fantasy, but with Mayan Mexican folklore in it. Yeah, so it's the Mayan god of death, and then there's Mexican folklore. I'm super interested in this. It is not too long, so I should be able to fly through it pretty quickly, but I'm excited for this one. And then the final one from Book of the Month that I have here is The Shadows by Alex North. This is a thriller mystery. Might have a little paranormal in it. I don't really know for sure. I've never read an Alex North book, but just from based on the cover, it looks a little paranormal to me. But because it is a mystery, or rather a thriller, I don't know anything about it. Do I know anything about any of these books? No. But I especially don't know anything about this one. But I'm interested either way. Next we have Silver Silence by Nalini Singh. This is a Psy-Changeling Trinity novel. So this, I think, is a spin-off series of a previous one of her series, and I didn't really know that going into this. I do know that this is the first book in this Psy-Changeling Trinity series, but I was kind of rather interested in this one because when I looked up like fantasy romance, this is kind of what I got. So I'm interested in this one, and I'm hoping that I don't really need to read the other series to understand this one. We'll see, I guess. Next one here is The Name of All Things by Jenn Lyons. This is the sequel to The Ruin of Kings, which is one of my favorite books of last year. So I had to pick up the second book in the series. Epic fantasy. There's dragons in it, dragons who feed off of songs, and the main character is just not that likable, but also kind of likable at the same time. It's really strange, but lots of different storylines. It's a really unique writing system in this book. And this one has it too, where there's actually footnotes in this that are told from a different character's point of view, which is kind of crazy and wild and just awesome all at the same time. So I had to pick up the second book here. The next book is one that I'm so excited for. It is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. So Miss N.K. Jemisin is one of my favorite authors of all time. She wrote The Fifth Season, which is the first book in the Broken Earth trilogy. And I love that series. Actually, I think The Fifth Season is probably my favorite book of all time. So when I heard that she was coming out with a new book, I had to pick it up. And the cover is like really cool. And I heard that if you like take your phone and have a certain app, this becomes like kind of interactive and holographic. And then if you flipped to the back or the author page, I don't really remember. If you do that, the author, Miss N.K. Jemisin, will kind of tell you a little bit about the book itself and how she wrote it and things like that. So I'm excited for this. I think it's like each city kind of has a person who takes on they're personified in a person, I think. And in New York, there's 5 of them for the 5 boroughs. So I think they have to battle monsters with tentacles. Sounds interesting. The next one here is The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the second book in the, what's that series called? In the Davabad series, I think. So I absolutely loved City of Brass when I read it, so of course I had to pick up the second book. I also needed to pick up the second book because I received the third book as an ARC, and I hadn't even read this yet, so I needed to pick this one up. I plan on getting to this one very soon because I loved City of Brass, but epic high fantasy with djinn warriors and magic and a lot of political intrigue in it. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely pick this up. I loved it, so I decided to get the second book in the trilogy. I gotta hurry up because I'm thirsty, I'm hot, I'm sweating. I gotta finish this video real quick. Anyway, the next 5 books are all books that I picked up for a specific video. You're getting a sneak peek for that video. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what it is, but you're getting a sneak peek either way. But one of them is The Red Tent by Anita. Diamant, historical fiction that my sister really enjoyed and recommended, so I'm going to be reading this one actually this month. Then we have a classic, North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. So again, sister really enjoyed this one. Hint, hint, that might be a hint to my video that I have that I need to film this for. But yeah, I'm going to be reading this one soon. It's kind of gives off Pride and Prejudice vibes to me, and I really love the show with the actor from The Hobbit. He played Thorin Oakenshield. But yeah, so there's this one. And then next we have another historical fiction, A Desperate Fortune by Susanna Kearsley. It also is supposed to have a little bit of fantasy aspects to it. I'm excited for this one. It's kind of a little bit of a beast here. Going to be reading that one this month as well. Next two, I actually already read, so 2 thumbs up for me on that one. This one is Isaac Storm by Erik Larson, a adult nonfiction that is about the worst storm in U.S. history, which was in Galveston, Texas, and it was pretty extreme. So I have already read this one, and that got me really interested in Erik Larson's writing, so I will be picking up more of his books. And then we have another historical fiction, which is Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. I read this one. It's about 2 sisters who never really had a good connection with their mother, but their father has recently passed away, and his dying wish was for them to kind of reconnect with their mother and kind of get her story and see where she's coming from and why she was such a bitch to them when they were growing up. But yeah, it was one that really broke my heart, made me cry. Still really enjoyed it. So I got this one. Next we have 5 books that were actually featured in a previous video of mine, which was When My Boyfriend Chooses the Books That I Buy video. So if you're interested in that, we went to Barnes & Noble and I gave him prompts. He chose the books for me and I had to buy them. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No, there was an if. If I already owned it or read it, we didn't have to buy it. But he did an excellent job with these choices, may I just say. One of them is The Ranger of Marzana by John Scovrun. So, adult high fantasy, don't know too much about it, but it's supposed to be, it looks grimdark, possibly. 2 siblings, 2 nations, one war for it all. I'm excited. And then he picked up Catwoman by Sarah J. Maas. This is a DC Icons book that I was never interested in picking up or reading, but because it's Sarah J. Maas, I think I might have to make an exception. So we'll see how this one goes. I think it's just a story of Catwoman, but Sarah J. Maas wrote it. So then another one we have here is Conventionally Yours by Annabeth Albert. This is a romance novel, and I think it's a male-male romance. It's about these 2 men who go to a convention together, and they're actually like rivals, and then there's a road trip and things like that. So I'm excited. It sounds nerdy, it sounds fun, it sounds romantic. I'm here for it. Maybe there's only gonna be 1 bed, who knows. Next is The Dead Girl in 2A by Carter Wilson. This is a mystery novel where 2 people meet on a plane, and it was a man and a woman, and the man finds out that the woman plans on killing herself when they get to their destination, and he decides that he needs to find her and stop that from happening. Don't really know what else I can say about that one, but it does sound interesting to me. The final one that I purchased from that video was Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy. It's a James Patterson presents a novel, which is about, I think, a gender-bent King Arthur story? Possibly? maybe with LGBTQ plus content. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for all of these books. Then I decided I wanted to go on a historical romance kick, and I picked up 4 historical romances. We have The Beast of Beswick by Amelie Howard. I don't know what to say about these. They're just historical romances. The Rogue of Fifth Avenue by Joanna Shoup, which is actually one that I saw on Riley Marie's channel. She absolutely loves historical romance and romance in general. Saw this one on it, decided to pick it up. And then I decided to pick up Wicked in the Wallflower by Sarah MacLean. I actually already read this one, devoured it in one sitting basically, and in one day. So I picked up the sequel, which is Brazen in the Beast, also by Sarah MacLean. So they're fun. They're ones that I can read super fast. So I'm really excited for all of these. I've read this one, but I'm excited for the rest. Then we have another one that actually I saw on Riley's channel, and it is Phoenix Unbound by Grace Draven. This is a fantasy romance. I need more of those in my life. Don't know what it's about though. I knew what these were about when I bought them, but now I'm just in a rush and I'm trying to keep it kind of short, so I hope y'all don't hate me for this. But then I have A Study in Scarlet Women by Sherry Thomas, which a coworker of mine really, really enjoyed, and I'm pretty sure Riley read it too, actually. But this is Lady Sherlock? I don't really know. It's supposed to have mystery in it. Things. Then we have 2 adult fantasies. We have An Illusion of Thieves by Kate Glass. I just really loved the cover on this one. And then Song of Blood and Stone by Elle Penelope, which is another one where I love the cover. Actually, both of these sound phenomenal and look phenomenal. So if you've read any of these, let me know. But yeah, this one specifically is one that I've been eyeing for a very long time because all the covers are just like beautiful. But I don't know what it's about. Ooh, look at the back of that. Look at those eyes. But yeah, those ones I'm excited for. And then we have a young adult fantasy, which is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. She's the author of... You know what? It's not going to come to me. I'm just not thinking right now. But I've read and enjoyed her other book. Has a greenish cover with a girl on it. Oh no, my mind. Okay, I'm gonna put a little subtitle here because I'll remember it as soon as I'm done filming this. But yeah, I enjoyed that one, so I wanted to pick up her first novel. It's another really, really short one that I can fly through, so I'm excited for this one, even though I don't know what it's about. I'm excited for it. Oh my gosh, we are almost done. I think I literally have like 11 or 12 left to show you guys. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. We have A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess. I recently read her newest novel, which is House of Dragons, and enjoyed that one. So again, I wanted to pick up her backlist title. Don't know what it's about, but young adult fantasy. Then we have actually a middle grade novel, which is The Wizards of Once by Cressida Cowell. I kind of want to do a video where I read like only middle grade for a week or 2 weeks or a month or something like that, which I have recently. Actually, all the rest of these are middle grade here, but this one I picked up because the cover is just so cute and it's so stunning, and it just sounds fun about like it's a wizard boy, a boy wizard, if you will. But yeah, I'm pumped to read that. If you're interested in that sort of video, let me know and I will definitely do it. The next one is The Dreamer by Pam Munoz Ryan and Peter Sis. So Pam Munoz Ryan is the author of Esperanza Rising. She actually came to my bookstore and did a book signing, and so I picked up her books, the ones I didn't have, but here we go. She even signed it and wrote 2020 on it. But this one sounds interesting and looks it too, because the writing's all in green and it's supposed to be about Pablo Neruda, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. But it won an award and I wanted to pick it up because Esperanza Rising was one of my favorite books growing up. So the next two are actually both Pam Munoz-Ryan's books as well. Her latest one, which is Manana Land, and then we have Echo here. Echo is like a beast, but I think this one, no, I thought it was going to be written in verse. It's not. It's just a big middle grade novel. But yeah, I'm excited to read more of her work. I actually haven't read anything else besides Esperanza Rising. Wow, this video is so long that my phone actually decided that it was too full to film anymore, so it stopped. So I had to delete a bunch of stuff before I could continue on with this video. But let me just finish this real quick because I have 6 more books to show you. So right here I have Thornhill by Pam Smejkal. This is a kind of graphic novel / novel, so I'm super interested in it. See, it has pictures and then it has words. I'm really interested in it. It seems rather interesting, kind of dark maybe. I don't really know for sure. Maybe it's a little creepy. Who really knows? I saw a doll in here, so it's probably creepy. But yeah, so this one I have. Gonna move these out of the way. It's the final countdown. So we have 5 more books to show you. Here is 12 Kings, what is this? 12 Kings in Sharakai by Bradley P. Bolio. This is an adult fantasy novel that I actually saw on Sam from Thoughts on Tomes channel. She really enjoyed this one. I decided that I wanted to pick it up as well, and it's a floppy paperback. We love floppy paperbacks, so I'm excited to see this one. I think it's about a girl who wants revenge on these 12 kings, so she's gonna go and kill all of them. Wow. Then these final 4 books I actually got from my older brother and my sister-in-law. They got me these for my birthday in November of last year, but they never actually like gave me the gift. They didn't get it to me until I think it was like March, like right before you know what, the big sea basically hit here, so we had to close down. But they got it to me just before that, and they just didn't have time to bring me my present, which is fine. I don't really care, but they got me 4 books, which is really awesome. One is Wake Siren by Nina McLaughlin. This is a metamorphosis. It's about nymphs and demigoddesses in Ovid's Metamorphosis. So I think it's supposed to be like their story, possibly, but I am really interested in it. It seems like it's going to be kind of similar to Circe by Madeline Miller, so I'm kind of interested in this one, and I added it to my list and they got it for me. Next we have Rosewater by Jade Thompson. This I think is a sci-fi novel, not fantasy. I thought it might be fantasy, but I think it's sci-fi, and I think it has aliens in it. So again, I need to read more science fiction, which is why I added it to my wish list, and my brother got it for me. And then we have one that I actually saw in my bookstore, and I had never heard anything about it, but it looked very interesting, and it is The Oyster Thief by Sonia Faruqi. This is about humans and mermaids. Yeah, I'm excited for it. We don't have enough mermaid books. And then the final book. We are down to the final book. And it is the Sagas of Icelanders with a preface by Jane Smiley. I don't think there's any authors in this. I think it's literally like the Sagas of the Icelanders. So it's a huge collection of these epic sagas from Icelanders. Why do I keep saying that? It's literally what the title says. But I think it's one that I wouldn't read all in one go, but I saw it again in my bookstore, and I was really intrigued by it because I love that time period, which is I think like Viking time period. I love that. And that's when I think a lot of these were written and told. But yeah, I'm really interested to read this one. Again, it's not something I would read all in one go since it's freaking beast, but it's ones that I can like read here and there, and I'm excited to get to it. Okay, we are done. Those are all 60 books that I've gotten within the last few months. I probably actually had more than that. I know I had more than that because I got a lot of arcs, but those arcs, there's no point in showing because they're already out now and things. But yeah, so these are all the books that I got recently in the past few months. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please comment down below and let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought about them. I would love to know. If you're excited to read like any of these arcs that I showed way in the beginning of this video, probably like 30 minutes ago, let me know. Like, I'm so excited for like all of these. And I keep saying like, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. But I'm so excited to read these. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna end this video because this has gone on long enough and it's gonna be a pain in the butt to edit. Wow, okay, so I again hope you like this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube stuff, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.